Hello everyone. Today we are diving into an intriguing and somewhat controversial trend in Chinese social media. Why do so many adolescent girls now label themselves as LE, short for lesbian, online, even when they don't identify as lesbian in real life? To explore this, I'm joined by today's guest, Chen Qianxun, a sophomore majoring in psychology at Wenzhou King University. Welcome, Qianxun.
Thanks for having me, Chen Xiao. I'm really excited to be here and talk about this topic. It's something I've noticed a lot on platforms such as 小红书.
Let's start with what's happening. In recent years, the hashtag LE has appeared in a growing number of videos and blogs. That's photo blogs, often featuring girls who don't identify as lesbian, but who adopt a kind of queer aesthetic. These girls may dress in androgynous fashion, reject traditional femininity, or simply use the label to appear cool or different. Some people see this as identity exploration. Others argue it's a kind of trend chasing or even disrespectful appropriation of queer identities. So, Qianxun, how do you interpret this phenomenon?
Well, I think it's a mix of factors. On one hand, we can't ignore how young people use the internet as a space to explore identities that they can not fully express on offline. For adolescent girls, especially in a conservative culture, using LE can be a way to challenge gender norms or just play with them. Adolescence is a time when people question who they are, and the internet gives them a relatively safe space to try on different identities, even if just for fun. But we also need to talk about social media algorithms. Platforms tend to push content that looks cool, subversive, or emotionally resonant. So when girls with a certain tomboy style tags themselves as LE, and that content goes viral, others imitate it, even if they don't share the same identity. So we have to ask, is this really about identity, or is it a fashion and aesthetic, maybe even a marketing tool?
Exactly. There is also the platform effect. Social media algorithms tend to reward unusual or cool content. So girls who present a more non-traditional image, say a tomboyish or 冷感 style, may get more views or likes if they use LE. And that brings us to Judith Butler. In her theory of gender performativity, Butler argues that gender is not something we are, but something we do, a performance shaped by repetition and social norms.
Yes, and what's happening here is a kind of gender performance that challenges the traditional binary. At the same time, it risks reducing the complex identity, being a lesbian into a style choice. It's performative but not always reflective. This kind of play can be empowering, but also risks flattening the lived experiences of actual LGBTQ individuals, especially lesbians who still face discrimination or invisibility in both online and offline China.
Some netizens argue that this trend brings visibility to queer aesthetics and in a way challenges compulsory heterosexuality. But others feel that when non-lesbian girls use LE casually, it depoliticizes lesbian identity, making it a cute label rather than a political and personal reality. Some members of the lesbian community feel that their identity is being trivialized or aestheticized. When being LE becomes a trend, it can erase the very real struggles lesbians face, such as stigma, family rejection, or social invisibility. So, Qianxun, do you think this trend is helping or harming the queer community?
That's a hard question. I think it's both. It helps in the sense that it opens conversations and makes space for gender fluidity, but it harms when it erases real struggles and turns queerness into a passing trend. Usually, it's the conventional, attractive cisgender girls who can flirt with queerness without consequences. For others, especially those who do identity as lesbian or queer, the same identity can lead to real life discrimination. So there's a power dynamic here. When queerness becomes cool, it risks becoming a consumable aesthetic, stripped of its political and personal meaning. Also, we should ask who benefits from this trend. Usually, it's the conventional, attractive cisgender girls who got attention, not those who truly defy gender norms or who are marginalized even within the queer community.
That's a really good point. The idea of cool queerness is often filtered through capitalism and social desirability. So, is this trend good or bad for gender expression?
Oh, it's not black and white. On one hand, it shows the gender identity is becoming more fluid and less restricted, which is positive. But on the other, it reflects the danger of turning identity into a trend, especially when real communities are still fighting for recognition and rights. I think the key is to promote awareness. If girls want to explore gender aesthetics, that's fine. But we should also encourage respect for the communities, those labels and identities they are borrowing.
Yes, exactly. That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and a big thank you to Qianxun for joining us today and sharing your insights.